Lucy was the first wife of a president to be commonly called the First Lady. She wasn't the first to whom the term was ever applied. That was Mary Lincoln, but the term was used much more with her. And because she was so prominent and so well liked, the growing number of female journalists in the nation loved to write about her. They commented on her fashion, which was noted to be in good taste, very modest but always tasteful, and her pretty charming good looks, which were, they declared, surprisingly youthful for how many children she had. She often wore a simple comb in her hair, which you can see in almost every picture of her. Lucy has been nicknamed Lemonade Lucy because of the ban on alcohol in the White House during the Hayes presidency. Since she was a strong teetotaler, many people believed that this was her doing. But it's later been realized that this was more of a political move by her husband, who thought that not embracing the dry movement would disrupt and ultimately divide the Republican Party. I'm sure she wasn't against it because she was a strong total abstainer herself. But I think they were quite united on that front. In some of her writings, either in her letters to her husband or in essays she wrote, she declared that she thought that women should never be put down by men or seen as the slave of men. She believed that women should have an equal place of honor in society while acknowledging that the sexes are different. And she was mostly concerned with the unfair pay differences between men and women. She never advocated for voting rights for women, but she did believe that women should be fairly paid for any job they would do. She also held that women were just as intelligent as men, if not superior to them in some regards. I think she didn't necessarily mean that in a feminist way, but in the more traditional stance, which I'd say we seem to have left today, in acknowledging that men and women have different strengths. And she used those strengths to very great advantage in being a delightful hostess, surrounding herself with many women who were not necessarily her relatives, or some of them were nieces or cousins, since she didn't have any adult daughters to help her. People loved her for her charming role as the First Lady, and she was definitely the most public First Lady up to that point. She welcomed people from both sides of the political parties into her circle and made her dinner parties something which were very enjoyable, but also very informal. On Thanksgiving, she and her husband invited not only important political members, but even some of the government postal workers to come and share the meal with them. And they had 3 turkeys and a whole pig to serve all the guests. They even invited other members of the political parties to come over to unwrap presents on Christmas morning. It was under her watch that the White House Easter egg roll became a custom on the front lawn. Before that, the Washington children would roll their Easter eggs on the front lawn of the Capitol building, but after the Congress members decided they didn't want that to happen anymore, Lucy allowed that to happen the day after Easter on the White House lawn, and it has become a very popular tradition ever since.